Okay, if I can have everyone's attention again, we welcome into the Infield Media Center A.J. Allmendinger, the driver of the number 43 Best Buy Ford. A.J., 11th in points. Just talk a little bit about your season so far, sitting in the top 12 coming into Dover this weekend.
We got that on? You hear me now? Hello? Yeah, that better? All right, sweet. So in the end, I feel like to be a true chase contending team, we got to be a lot better. Where last week we struggled. Like I said, I think this weekend we should be really good, but as a whole, we need to get better.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions here in the Media Center. Please raise your hand. We'll do our very best to make sure we get you guys in order. Questions? Steve Post.
AJ, you've done well at this racetrack ever since the first time you rolled in here. This is unlike anything in the world, unlike anything probably you've seen in open wheel racing. What is there about it? Have you been able to pinpoint what about this track has really suited your style because it has been just so good for you?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just it's a fun racetrack to drive. I think there's a lot of things that you can do on this racetrack to get around it and run pretty fast. So there's the way I look at it, there's just different driving options of how you drive this racetrack to be fast. And, I've always had a fairly good car here, especially the last couple of years. So that's something that makes it a lot easier. But it's just, to me, I just show up to this racetrack, and I'm excited to be here. I like this racetrack, and I think when you're able to do that, you can come here and have a good attitude about it and be pretty fast.
Questions for AJ? Right. If we can get a wireless mic to you real quick up front.
Andrew Koch, WGMD News, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. With the forecast for this weekend, how much do you think that's going to play a factor for this weekend, especially given the forecast that it's basically from tonight on it's going to rain? How much will that play a factor if you are able to get races in either today or tomorrow or Sunday?
Well, you're kind of a downer, aren't you?
It's balance. It's balance.
Yeah, that's nice. Real way to get me excited. No, it's weather. When if it's going to rain, it's going to rain. If not, we'll go into these two practices and focus on what we've always focused on, try to make the car good in race trim, and then work on qualifying trim when we're ready. But once it rains, it rains, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. And for me, it's I've been my first year. I was here many times when it'd rain, and I wasn't high enough in points to race. So I've been on the bad end of it. Now I know whenever it does stop raining, I'll be racing. So that's all that matters.
Any other questions for AJ? Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, AJ, can you describe dropping off the straightaway down into the corner and getting back into the gas? Can you kind of put into words? I'm just trying to visualize what that must be like and the confidence you must have when you hit bottom to be in the gas again.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty insane, especially going into turn one. Just it just feels like the bottom drops out from under you. Everything it just seems like it just disappears when you take off, and then once it lands, it's almost kind of like a punch to the gut just a little bit at times when it compresses so hard because you drop feels like you honestly drop 50 feet in the air and land. So the biggest thing is around this place to have a good balance for when it does land, that the car's not moving around at all. It's not tight or loose. It just kind of lands nice and smooth, and you have the confidence to get it turned and get back to throttle, especially in qualifying. I mean, in the race, you lay the corner back so much that the bottom, when it lands, it's not as critical. But in qualifying, you're so fast that once you do land, you have to be back in the throttle. So that's what makes it so much fun. It's definitely a different racetrack. I remember the first time I came here was in trucks in 2007 before Cup practice, and we were standing on pit road, and my crew chief told me not to look at any trucks coming off turn 4, and I said, well, why? I need to learn. He said, I wouldn't recommend it. And me being dumb, I said, no, I'm going to look. And I remember Hornaday came off turn 4 the first time. Looked like the tires weren't even touching the ground. He was sideways. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm leaving. So so it's an insane racetrack, but it's all the characteristics that make it so much fun.
Any other questions? Okay, AJ, thank you very much.
Thank you.